I thought I saw some yellow in my eyes, but it must be the light reflecting off my shirt onto the screen here. I didn't think I had any at all, and I don't. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister Teamsters. My name is Carl Gregory, and I'm a Teamster out of Panama City, Florida. I work at UPS as a part-time loader and unloader on the local sort. I also deliver air on Saturdays and occasionally work as a cover driver when I'm needed. What I want to talk to you first about is Teamsters United is hosting a conference call on August 11th. That conference call, they're going to have all the major leadership within Teamsters United. They're going to come on and explain this contract and pull it apart and show us where all the dirty spots are in it, and so everybody can get an idea of exactly what the contract is. Now, there's a lot of different things going on around it, about it, a lot of misinformation, a lot of propaganda that I've been hearing from the official Teamsters at IBT and from my local, and also from around locals around America. A lot of them are supporting this contract, and I don't, and a lot of the other grassroots people do not support this contract because we don't believe it's good for the Teamsters. It's not good for us, and I know they can do better. Okay, the conference call is going to be on August 11th. That's a Saturday, and here's the times, because it depends on where you're located at, what time it's going to be. If you're on the East Coast, then it's going to be noon. If you're in Central Time, where I'm at, it's 11 a.m. Mountain Time, it will be 10 a.m. And if you're in California, you guys are going to have to get up early because it's going to be at 9 a.m. in the morning. Now, if you don't have internet, or if you don't have the web on your phone or at home, you can text into, I'm going to capitalize this, make it all caps, UPS call. That's all one word. UPSCALL. Say it again. UPSCALL. Or if you're in the military, you can say Uniform Papa Sierra Charlie Alpha Lima Lima. If you guys, some of you guys understand what I'm talking about there. And you text into this number, 94253. 94253. So put that number in your phone and text UPS call, and then Teamsters United will send you a confirmation message right away. It takes about maybe 15-20 seconds to do it, and then they'll call you. Now, there isn't going to be any call-in number, so if you think, I'm just going to wait and do this another time, well, you're going to miss out. You're going to have to hear what other people are telling you about it, and you'll probably get some misinformation or misunderstandings. They're also going to have where you can call in and ask questions directly to the people there in the leadership of Teamsters United, and they're experts, and they'll explain to you any question or answer your questions that you have. So write them down and think about them. Now, I've talked to a couple of the people up there, and they've told me what they're going to do is they're going to have people screen the phone calls and collect the answers up, the questions up, and find out and just take a representative sample. But you're actually going to be able to talk on there, from what I understand, and people are going to hear you. So people in your local, people you know, will know that this is not a put-on show. And a lot of us suspect that the last UPS call that they had a week or two ago was put on because we didn't hear anybody asking those questions, and they didn't ask the questions that we were concerned about. We do know that they're going to give a $3 pay raise to all the newcomers. Everybody knows that, and that's nice. You know, it could have been a little bit more because that's what we need, is a little bit more. It's still kind of poverty wages for the hours we work. Now, nobody out here thinks that part-timers should be getting a full living wage to live on from a part-time job. But the same token, those part-timers should be making a living wage for the hours they're working. Think about that. The hours they're working. Nobody expects to get a full 8 hours worth of living wage in 3 or 4 hours or 5 hours. But we do expect to be paid well for what we do. We do one of the hardest jobs in the United States. Now, some other things I want to talk about here. Okay, here's some reasons to vote no, and I've been going over this and thinking about, well, I've talked about the hybrid drivers already, and I think everybody's pretty much talked about the hybrid drivers. That's going to split our union up and create a two-tier system between the drivers. Now, we already have a system, a difference between the part-timers and the full-timers, and it's hard to get us all to come together on some stuff. But if we create a second tier Well, then the drivers, then they're going to be split. And we shouldn't allow that to happen. In addition, those hybrid drivers are going to get paid significantly less than what a regular driver normally would get. They can add up to 25% of the driving force will be hybrid drivers. So, like if you have 100 drivers, and that's an example out of a local, 25 of them can be hybrid drivers. Okay, and the hybrid drivers are going to start out, and there's going to be a 4-year progression on that. They're going to start at $20.50 an hour. But those regular drivers are out there making $34, $35. So, what, $14 difference, $13 difference? That's a big difference. And they're going to be doing the same job. But they're not going to have the same protections that regular driver will have. They're not going to be able to get on the 9-5 list if they can't handle the work full time like they're doing all the time, because they just shove their work down your throat, and everybody knows that. And some of the people are older, and they may not want to get out there and work 11-hour days every day, and come in and wait to be released to go, because it actually ends up to more. You get your 10 hours off, then they say come in and say 8:30 in the morning, and you don't leave the building to 9:30, sometimes 10, because air is late or something. Then they have a 4-year progression, the way I understand it, and eventually they'll top out. Those hybrid drivers will top out at $34.79 per hour, and at that time there'll be a difference of $6, from what I understand, between them and the established drivers that are regular drivers. That's a $6 difference. But they keep talking about this $6 difference deal, but really, in the beginning, it's going to be like $14 difference. So UPS that first year is going to really make a killing on those guys. And the second year, they're going to make a killing, but it won't be as good as the first, and it'll decrease down to basically where they're making $6 difference. Now, the established drivers think, wow, I'm tired of working so hard and all that stuff, but when it comes down to it, when it gets close to your 8 hours, I imagine that UPS is going to be sending one of those hybrid drivers to pull those extra stuff off your truck. And if you're kind of running slow that day, they're going to look at your rate of delivery and going to say, well, why can't you keep with those young hybrid drivers? They're getting paid less money and they're working harder than you. So I think that's going to put a target on a lot of the established drivers' back. And I really do believe in the long run that's where UPS wants to go. They want to get rid of the higher paid drivers because they want to have a better profit. And as a company, if I was UPS, I'd probably want the same thing. But as an employee like I am, and as a member of the Teamsters, I want to make sure myself and my brothers and my sisters out there are all taken care of, and that we get a fair deal too. Because UPS should we have owners that own stock, but who do you think makes this company work? It's us. All the value's coming out of our hands. And are we getting paid what we're worth? Well, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody can get paid what they're worth. But are they paying us what they can pay us? No, I don't. Not with $6 billion profit, and $1 billion of that being corporate welfare. Okay, another thing we're talking about is the 9-5 list. Excessive overtime on that. Well, they've changed a little bit how you get on the list, but basically, not any major changes there. And I expect that the harassment will continue for those that want to be on it. Back to hybrid drivers. So I forgot to mention that. They're going to slowly, get this going here. But in my center, I think we got 6 to 10 people going to school right now, and we've got 43, 45 drivers that are established right now. So we're pretty much filling that workforce up. That 25%, they're going to be ready to go when day one, when this thing kicks off. So I think that UPS is really planning to fill those spots real fast. And you regular drivers, the load will get a little bit lighter. So you can look forward to that, but so will your paycheck. Okay, 70-hour work weeks during peak for drivers. Now, National Transportation Safety Board, they've set it up where they can't do that. And I imagine they set that up thinking about those cross-country drivers who drive the big rigs from one town to the next and drop a load off here and then drop a load off at another town. And then they go take it to another state and drop another load off there. Well, they're on big superhighways out there, moving along, going in a straight line pretty much. And it's pretty easy to drive those trucks under those conditions, So it's not the same as our package car drivers out there that leave the building with the car stuffed to the roof where you can't walk down the center aisle. If someone put a package in the wrong side of the truck, you ain't going to be able to find it till later on in the day. So these guys are out there unloading all that and delivering it to the door, surface to, hand to surface deal to the package to the floor there. And some of these packages weigh up to 150 pounds. And then when they're coming back in, some of them come back with a half a truck. Some of them come back with a third or a quarter. Some have less, some have more. Some come back with full trucks, depending on what they're picking up. But it's a little bit different when you're loading and unloading those trucks all day. Now, those cross-country drivers, most of those guys are driving in air-conditioned trucks, with sleepers in the back and all the comforts of home. They probably even have a microwave in the back and a refrigerator. But we're driving out there with no air conditioning, except in California. Wish we had those here in Florida. We need it more than you, I think, because it's more humid down here. But we're driving along out there, and we're unloading those trucks all day, and we're wore out. And so then if I can see after you've been driving for 6 days, and it's on your 6th day, and you're at 67 hours, 68 hours, and you're getting close to the center now, but you're running that little neighborhood on Saturday during Christmas time when all the kids are out of school, and little munchkin comes running out between two cars that you didn't see, and you're tired, and your brain is not 100% there, and knock one over, and then your whole life is ruined, and somebody's lost their life here. That's a real big deal to me, and that's why I got started on this in the first place, was the 70-hour work week. Well, now they put it in writing, and so during peak, you can expect 70-hour work weeks, most definitely into the larger cities. You guys got a few of them got last Christmas, and everybody complained about it then. The only people that I can recall that actually stood up to UPS and said no was Matthew Tabai and Matthew Mammy out of Rhode Island. And I want to give those guys a salute because they're the real thing, That's the kind of leadership we need across this union as a whole. We need fighters out there. We don't need managers. We need leaders. Okay, on to where I was going next. Poverty wages for part-timers. Okay, they say they're going to raise the part-time starting wage up to $13 an hour. There's a progression up to 15, I think 50-50. I didn't write it down over the life of this contract. But the other existing part-timers that have more than 5 years, well, they have a progression too, and it starts out at 70 cents per hour. 70 cents for all those people who worked here for years. And their wages, they started back in 1997, were pretty decent back then. They were making over minimum wage then. But now, and they are now, but the thing is, the value they had back in 1997 is a lot different. They can't buy with $20 an hour what they could buy when they started at UPS at $8.50 or $8 an hour, because the dollar is devalued so badly over time. So that's not going to cut it. But at the same token, now UPS, every time their prices go up, they can raise the price of their product and the cost of delivery of a package or a letter, and they do. But do they make an adjustment to our wages to deal with that cost of living and everything that's going on and the inflation that's happening? No, they don't. Okay, let's see. Subcontracting feeders. Well, I've read that they can do more of that, and I don't know much about that being in a regular center like I am, so I'm not going to say a lot about that. But I do believe the people that wrote this. No real part-time jobs. We were asking, I believe, for 10,000 originally. Now we've come down to 5, and we were asking for more full-time jobs, like driver positions. We wanted 10,000 new drivers, and that would alleviate all the problems with the overtime and getting people working and trying to get more people being full-time. And but unfortunately, it looks like they're only offering us 5,000 new hybrid jobs, and those are going to count for the new jobs, and those are that second-tier driver who's not making as much. The second-class driver is what I like to think of. Let's see what else. Dishonesty. Now, dishonesty, that kind of comes personal to me, because a friend of mine, Dustin Ponder, was fired a few weeks ago for dishonesty. I mean, I never could figure out what he got fired for. I mean, because if you look at the definition of dishonesty in the contract, well, I don't know what it is, to be honest. I don't think there is a definition, just the word dishonesty. So if I'm a manager and I say you're dishonest about something, I can walk you right off the property right away. And that's what they did to Dustin Ponder a few weeks ago. You know, now he fought, and people came to help him, and we got him back to work. But the thing is, he lost 3 weeks, and I personally think, and I don't know anything, but I personally think that maybe somebody wanted to shut him up, because that was just before the strike vote, as I recall. And Ponder's a real real strong grassroots activist. I met him personally, and he's a real nice guy. Yeah. And he doesn't want anything more than we deserve. He just wants a fair share for the people who do the work here. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. So we didn't make any progress on the dishonesty thing. It's basically staying the same, and so expect that more people will continue to be walked off, especially those like me and Ponder and various other folks out there that actually stand up and fight for the rights of the worker. Okay. Non-drivers lost their protections for technology. That's a biggie. Now, we just recently got these new dyads for our local sort, and that's where I work at. They call them car wash dyads. They look like pretty expensive little handheld computers. I was told they're $2,000 a pop. But the funny thing about these things, they don't work worth a darn. They crash all the time. If you make an entry erroneously by accident, by just brushing against the screen, just brush it lightly. When you're not paying attention, or someone calls to you and look away and you hit the screen by accident, you've already put an erroneous activity in there. And if you go back, can you remove it? No, they've taken that possibility away. There's no way to make a correction for an error that you put in by mistake. Now, someone above looking at those numbers, well, did Carl wash that truck there, or did he check that oil? And no, Carl didn't do that, but Carl couldn't correct that, or whoever else made the error. And so then what happens is dishonesty. Maybe they need to fire him, So they've taken all that off there. So if you make an erroneous mistake with technology and you're non-driver, there's absolutely no protections now. So you need to think about that stuff. They did have some other things in the contract. There was a few things that were not bad, but they made some improvements on the health care a little bit. Instead of 12 months to get your health care for a part-timer, now it's 9, and I have to give them credit for that. That's good. It's a move toward the right direction, but I believe it used to be 3 months before, back a couple contracts ago. And let's see, what else was it they did, I thought was, and they're adding a little bit more money to our retirement funds for the pension plan. A lot of that's to do with the hybrid drivers coming on being full-time, so that will make a little bit more contribution. Of course, the union guys will, the local and the international will get more of the dues, because you get the dues rates higher for someone who's making more money. It's based on the percentage of your pay. Well, that's pretty much all I got to say for today, and I just want to remind you guys again that Teamsters United conference call is August 11th, and it's going to be at noon for Eastern Time, 11 for Central Time, 10 a.m. for Mountain Time, 9 a.m. for Pacific Time, and all you got to do to get on that is text UPS call. UPS call. Uniform Papa Sierra Charlie Alpha Lima Lima, and the number is 94253. 94253. And I'm going to post this in the comments, so you don't have to write it down if you didn't get it already. Don't worry about it. And I just kind of enjoy messing with you guys at phonetic spelling. But you guys have a nice day, and tomorrow I'll see you at work, and let's do what we can. That's my daughter over there. Doesn't know how to shut up when I ask her to shut up. Well, have a nice evening. Night.